Okay, look at this. Do you recognize it? What about now? This is actually what was inside of this backpack that Apollo astronauts carried while they were walking on the moon. Isn't it incredible? Like, just look at it. All of those wires, tubes, etc. This is an engineering masterpiece, and I will argue it was the most important part of the spacesuit. I mean, this device is called a Portable Life Support System, or PLIS for short. Like, this is what provided astronauts with oxygen, for example. There is no breathable oxygen on the moon, so this is how astronauts were able to breathe. Also, this backpack removed CO2. As you know, humans exhale carbon dioxide when breathing, and if there is too much of it, it can become toxic. So that's why you have to remove it in places like submarines, the ISS, and spacesuits. And PLIS was doing that by using lithium hydroxide. It also regulated spacesuit pressure. The suit was pressurized to about 4 psi. It provided voice communication, displayed heart rate, and also it cooled down the water that was used to cool down an astronaut. It can actually get very hot inside the suit, and you definitely don't want an astronaut to faint while they're walking on the moon. So that's why all of them wore this thing underneath, which is called a liquid cooling garment. This thing consists of a bunch of tiny flexible tubes that were in direct contact with the skin. The cool water circulated through them, and this is what cooled down an astronaut's body. Now, let's talk about the spacesuit itself. It's also very interesting. The first thing you probably notice is that it's blue for some reason. Like, we all remember it was definitely white, so what's going on? Actually, this is how all spacesuits look like underneath, because this white layer was actually a layer that was attached to the spacesuit itself. It was called a thermal micrometeoroid garment, and it played an important role in protecting an astronaut from solar radiation and micrometeoroids. I think you know what solar radiation is and that is harmful, but what about micrometeoroids? Actually, those are just tiny meteoroids, like the size of a grain of sand. They are not that much of a problem here on Earth, because most of them burn in Earth's atmosphere. But on the moon, the atmosphere is so thin that it doesn't stop them. And that's a problem, because there are a lot of them in space, and they definitely can pierce a spacesuit if they hit it. So this white layer protected against these threats, solar radiation and micrometeoroids. Another interesting detail is these rubber joints. They are very important because without them it will be pretty much impossible to move. You can see them on shoulders, elbows, and also here, since Apollo astronauts had to climb up and down that ladder, like on the lunar lander. They really needed some extra mobility there. And also, when they started using the lunar rover, like in the last 3 missions, they had to add 2 extra joints at the neck and waist, so that it will be more comfortable for the astronauts to sit in the lunar rover. And talking about mobility, this is what the strap is for. In case the suit will inflate too much, to the point you can move, you could actually do this and help yourself to bend. These things near the shoulders also helped with mobility. So what else? These connectors. They were used for water and oxygen. And the spacesuit was very functional. Like, there were a bunch of pockets, like for a checklist, a pencil, etc. And yeah, this was truly an engineering masterpiece. In some way, it was an astronaut's personal spacecraft. It had life support, protection from solar radiation and micrometeoroids, and yeah, it was an incredible piece of engineering.